All right, everybody, welcome back. We are ready for another deep dive, and today we are looking at some pretty cool science, actually. Some cutting-edge stuff. You know, the kind of thing that makes you think, oh, wow, the future is really getting interesting.
It really is. Yeah.
And so specifically, we are going to be looking at a recent breakthrough in how we can move ions around. And why that matters for things like electric vehicles or even, get this, brain-computer interfaces.
Whoa, yeah.
Pretty wild stuff. So we have a couple of really interesting news articles that just came out that we're going to be looking at today. One of them is from Science Daily, and that one's called "Scientists Create Ion Superhighway for Ultra-Fast Energy Storage." Pretty cool title. And then the other one is from Interesting Engineering, and this one's called "5-Minute Charging EV Battery Could Be Possible Thanks to New Lithium Composite." So you know, right there in the titles, you can kind of see where we're going with this. We're going to be looking at what is this new discovery? How does it work? Why is it such a big deal?
Yeah.
And what does it mean for the future? You know? Yeah, absolutely.
So let's start with the basics. This discovery comes from Washington State University. And essentially what they've done is they've created what they're calling an ion superhighway.
Right.
It allows ions to move like 10 times faster than they normally would. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is, it's like a huge jump forward in terms of speed.
Yeah, so like, can you help us understand, like, why is that so important? What's the big deal about moving ions quickly? I mean, I know ions are like these tiny charged particles. They're involved in all sorts of stuff, but like, I'm not a scientist.
Right. Well, so you're right. Ions are these tiny charged particles, and they are essential for so many things, right? Like they carry energy in batteries.
Mm.
They allow our brains to communicate with each other. They're even involved in like cleaning water.
Oh, wow.
But the problem has always been that ions tend to move really slowly, especially through certain materials. It's kind of like imagine trying to get like a huge crowd of people through like one tiny little door. It's going to take a really long time. Right?
So this ion superhighway that these scientists created, it's basically like creating this wide open freeway for ions to travel on.
I see. So like, it's not just that we are moving ions faster, it's that we're able to move them faster through things that they normally would have a really hard time getting through.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So like, how did they even come up with this idea? Like, what was the inspiration behind this ion superhighway?
Well, it's actually pretty cool. They were inspired by nature, so they looked at how ions move efficiently through cell membranes in our own bodies.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and they basically mimicked that process to create this artificial channel.
Oh, that's amazing. So like, we're learning from nature to solve these like really complex technological problems.
Yeah, and that happens all the time. Nature often has the best solutions.
Yeah, so true. Okay, so we've got the basics down. We know what this ion superhighway is, how it works, and like why moving ions quickly is so important. So like, what are the practical implications of this? Like, how is this going to change our lives?
Right. Well, so one of the most exciting applications is in the field of electric vehicles. So you know how one of the biggest drawbacks to EVs right now is the charging time?
Yeah.
I mean, it can take hours to fully charge an electric car.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, so with this new ion superhighway technology, we could potentially charge EV batteries in just minutes. Like one of the articles we're looking at today, it actually talks about a 5-minute charging EV battery.
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
That's like filling up your gas tank.
Exactly. So it would basically eliminate one of the major barriers to widespread EV adoption.
Right. It would make EVs so much more practical for everyday use. Wow, that's huge.
Yes, it really is.
Okay. So faster charging, that's obviously a big one. But are there any other potential benefits for EVs?
Yeah, absolutely. So faster charging is one thing, but it also has the potential to make batteries smaller and more powerful.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so think about it. If we can move ions more efficiently, we don't need as much material to store the same amount of energy. So we could have these super compact batteries that pack a real punch.
So, like, we could have electric cars with much longer ranges than what we have now,
Potentially.
and like all sorts of other electric devices with much longer battery life.
Exactly. Yeah, the possibilities are pretty amazing.
Wow. Okay, so electric vehicles, that's a pretty big one. But the articles also mentioned another potential application that I found really intriguing, and that is neuromorphic computing.
Right, yeah.
Now, I'll be honest, I'm not totally sure I understand what that even means.
Okay, well, neuromorphic computing is basically the attempt to build computers that function more like the human brain.
Okay.
So, our brains are incredibly efficient at processing information and learning new things. And that's because they use this vast network of interconnected neurons that communicate using, guess what? Ions. So, the idea behind neuromorphic computing is to create artificial systems that mimic this structure and function of the brain. And this ion superhighway could potentially play a huge role in that.
Wow. So, like, we could actually create computers that think like us.
Well, that's the ultimate goal, but it's still a long way off. But yeah, this discovery could be a big step in that direction. It could help us build AI systems that are more efficient, more powerful, and more adaptable than anything we have today.
That's kind of mind-blowing. Like, we started out talking about faster charging for electric cars, and now we're talking about, like, creating artificial intelligence that rivals the human brain.
It's pretty amazing, yeah.
It's amazing how it all connects.
Yeah, and that's what's so exciting about science. You start
Yeah,
with one discovery and it can lead to all these other breakthroughs in completely different fields.
totally.
Yeah.
So, to bring it back to our listeners, you know, what does all this mean for the average person?
Well, I think the main takeaway is that this discovery has the potential to really change our world. We're talking about things like ending range anxiety for electric car owners. We're
Hmm.
talking about potentially revolutionizing the way we think about computing and artificial intelligence.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to overstate the potential impact of this.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it sounds like science fiction, but it's real.
Mm,
And it makes you wonder, like, what other incredible discoveries are out there just waiting to be made?
yeah, exactly. That's what makes science so cool. There's always something new to learn and explore.
Absolutely. And one of the big takeaways for me is how important it is to keep investing in scientific research.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, who knows what amazing things we could achieve if we just give scientists the resources they need to keep pushing the boundaries of knowledge.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, I think that about wraps it up for this deep dive. We covered a lot of ground today. We went from a tiny little particle to the future of transportation and artificial intelligence.
Yeah, it was quite a journey.
It really was.
Yeah.
But hey, that's what we do here, right? We take these complex scientific topics and we break them down so that everyone can understand and appreciate the amazing things that are happening in the world of science.
Absolutely. It's all about making science accessible and engaging.
Exactly. So, for our listeners out there, if you want to learn more about ion channels or energy storage or neuromorphic computing, definitely do some digging. There's a ton of fascinating information out there. And who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to make your own groundbreaking discovery someday.
That's what we're hoping for.
Thanks for joining us on this journey to the future of science. Until next time, keep exploring and keep asking questions.
See ya. Bye.